think conventional education, depending on what you're studying, if you're going to a very credential field, like say law, science, or something like that, it's probably worth it. But if you just want to have your own business, you don't need a degree. The schools want you to give them 100, 200K to give you the validation on a piece of paper. And you don't need validation. You just need a validation from a customer that will pay you money. As of the past year, from 2014, I've been living in Vietnam. Personally, for me, I pick a place where you have the most like-minded people. And so before I quit my job, I was living by myself in Taipei, Taiwan, and none of my friends cared about this stuff. Starting your own business, even just talking about like SEO, paid ads, email marketing, anything related to like content, whatever we do, right? Everything, you all know this stuff. So no one cared about it. And I was like, everything was just in my own head. And it wasn't until I moved somewhere, you come to events kind of like these in Bangkok that you realize, hey, it's like a second family, and you got to be around that family so you can grow as a person. Yeah, so I think the biggest mindset you have to make going down this step is being from a consumer to a producer. If you look at the world, when we buy a sandwich, when we buy a beer, you're a consumer where you trade money for a certain type of good, right? And it's actually the guy that gets the money is the guy that produces that beer, this microphone, this camera we're recording in at, this content, whatever, right? And I think money is fundamentally an exchange of value. And how can you be the guy that produces value so that people can use that to give you money? And when you think that way, then kind of like you see the matrix, because it's no longer about how can I trade my time for money, how can I get money here? Because just asking for money, why should someone give you money? What are you going to give back to them? That's the biggest switch you probably have to make for anyone starting out. Yeah, the biggest mistake I made starting out my business was waiting too long to monetize. Because I think the biggest fear I had was that who are people to pay me money to give them X product, right? And I think when you start out a content business, you don't really know what you're offering it, and you kind of need to test the waters to see the response to different people. Would they buy this? Would they buy that? Sometimes you get crickets when you have an idea. You have this great idea, hey, I'm gonna offer people a consulting call or something like that, this ebook or whatever. And sometimes you just get crickets because it's not what people want. And I think going through that process until you find something that works is something that I took too long to do. So the way I knew that I could succeed was that if you look at everyone on the internet, most people don't know what they're doing when they start out. They figure it out as they go along. And there's a good line by Warren Buffett. He says, first come the innovators, then come the imitators, then come the idiots. And so if you look at people who have always done cool things, whether that's John Lee Dumas, Pat Flynn, those guys, they're always innovators. They're the first to do new things. And they're always figuring this out, staying ahead of the curve. And I think when you go into this, it doesn't really matter if you know it or not. You just have to have faith in yourself that you'll figure this out, and to know that your vision is strong enough to kind of make something happen.